All right, so we're talking about systems of linear equations, and now we're gonna be talking here about, solving some word problems dealing with systems. Now, the first problem says a farmer raises chickens and goats. He has 22 animals altogether. He also knows that altogether his animals have 56 feet. How many of each type does the farmer have? Remember, okay, chickens have 2 legs and goats have 4 legs. So I want you guys to give it some time, see if you guys can solve it, and pause the video and see if you can set it up. All right, so the way to deal with this is basically you got to deal with heads. Okay, chickens and goats have, all of them have only one head. But the difference between chickens and goats is that chickens have 2 legs and goats have 4 legs. So you can do one equation for heads and one equation for feet or legs, whatever. So let's do the equation for the heads. Okay, we know that goats, right, that's G, plus chickens, let's call it C, all together, right, heads, all together there are 22 animals, 22 heads, right there. So that's my first equation. We know we have 22 animals, so goats plus chickens equals to 22. Now I'm going to be dealing with feet or legs. In this case, it's going to be a little different. We know that the goats have 4 feet, so I can go 4 times each goat, right? Because each goat has 4 feet, right? And chickens have only 2 feet, so 2 times the number of chickens. And the number of legs together are, or feet, are 56. Now we got a system of equations that we can solve. And in this case, I'm going to be using elimination because it's in standard form, but I have to create a opposite. And I'm going to be creating the opposite by multiplying basically the top equation by a -2. If I multiply by a -2, that one done, that one right there, I got a -2g. If I multiply -2 times c, I'm gonna have a -2c, and then finally a -2 times 22, that will be a -44. All right. And then we got the bottom equation here. We got 4g plus 2c equals to 56. We solve the equation by combining these 2 equations here. 2g plus 4g, that will be 2g, 2c, -2c and plus 2c 0, and -4 plus 56, that will be a 12. We solve for g, and you divide both sides by 2, so the goats are going to be basically 6, so 6 goats. We got 6 goats. Now we do the substitution. We choose one of the equations here. The easy one is this one, and we plug in the 6 instead of a g. So we got, again, g plus c equals to 22. So this is gonna go in here, and we got 6 plus c equals to 22. Subtracting 6 to both sides of the equation, and we got chickens is equal to 22 minus 6 is gonna be 16 chickens. So 6 goats and 16 chickens. Simple. All right. So I want you guys to try that one right there. So we got a business with 2 locations by 7 large bands and 5 small bands. Location A receives 5 large bands and 2 small bands for a total cost of $235,000. Location B receives 2 large bands and 3 small bands for a total cost of $160,000. What is the price of each type of band? So pause the video, see if you're able to do it. All right, so we got 2 locations. I'm gonna do an equation for location A and an equation for location B. So location A, first equation there, right? And it says location A receives 5 large bands and 2 small bands for a total. Okay, so 5 large bands, I'm gonna call L the large bands, plus 2 small bands, that's an S, small, equals to the price, right? 5 times the price of the large band plus 2 times the price of the small bands. Yeah, they're spending a total of $235,000. That's location A. Well, location B. They have 2 large bands, plus 3 small bands. And they're spending a total amount of $160,000. Again, we can use elimination. And in this case, I'm gonna go and multiply the top one by 3, because I gotta create a negative. And the bottom one, well, I gotta multiply it by a -2. I'm doing that because if I do this, I will get a 6s and a -6s. This is not the only way you can do it. You can do it different ways, but that's the way I chose. And if we do that, we put it together. So 3 times 5 is 15L. 3 times 2s, that will be 6s. And 3 times 235,000. Well, that's gonna be about 705,000, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's about right. And then we do the same thing in the bottom. -2 times 2L, that will be -4L. -2 times 3s, that will be -6s. That will be my opposites here. That's why I did that. I created my opposites. And -2 times 160,000, that will be basically -320,000. We combine them, 15L and 4L, that will be 11L. They cancel each other here. 705 minus 320,000, that will be 385,000. Divide both sides by 11. And we got L is equal to $35,000. All right, so we got the price of the large band. Now I need the price of the small band. So I gotta do substitution. I choose one of these ones. I'm gonna choose the bottom one and do the substitution. So 2L plus 3S equals to 160,000. I'm gonna be doing the substitution. This goes in here with the L. And we got 2 times 35,000 plus 3, that's an S, that's not a 5, okay? 3S equals to 160,000. Well, I don't have enough space here. There you go. 2 times 35,000, that will be 70,000. plus 3s equals to 160,000. And then what we do over here is 3s equals, well, we got 160,000 minus 70,000. That's about 90,000. Divide both sides by 3, and the small band is gonna be equal to $30,000. So the large band costs $35,000. The small band costs $30,000. Simple, right? Let's do another one. Let me go find a different page. Let's take a look at this example. It says the perimeter of a trapezoid piece of land is 48 kilometers. The perimeter of a rectangular piece of land is 144 kilometers. Write and solve the system of linear equations to find the value of x and y. If you guys remember, perimeter, guys, perimeter is basically the addition of all of the sides. So for this one over here, my perimeter is going to be 2x plus 6y plus 4x plus 6y, and the trapezoid, perimeter of the trapezoid is 48 kilometers. So the perimeter for this one is 48 kilometers. So that's 48. For the rectangular one is 18y plus 9x plus 9x plus 18y, and the perimeter for the rectangle is 144 kilometers. Okay, now we gotta combine like terms, okay? So the x's with the x's and the y's with the y's. 2x plus 4x, that's 6x. 6y plus 6y, that's 12y. I'm simplifying. That's basically what I'm doing. That's one equation. I got one equation there. And then we got 18y plus 18y and 9x plus 9x. I'm going to keep it all, x first. I'm going to go 9x plus 9x is 18x. And 18y plus 18y, that will be 36y equals to 144. That will be the other equation. Now it's all about solving it. So I'm going to move it up here so we can solve the equation. Remember, we got 6x, and that should be 12x, right? So forget about the x there. 6x and 12y. That will be a y, sorry. So 6x plus 12y, right? We got that one. We're looking at this one over here. Equals to 48 and 18x plus 36y equals to 144. I'm gonna be creating the opposites, right? So I can multiply, I don't know, I can either multiply the top one by -3. If I do that, okay, I'm gonna create the opposite of 18x, which is -18x. So I'm gonna be multiplying that. So that will be -18x, -3 times 12y, that will be -36y, and -3 times 48, that will be equal to -144. I got this one over here, 18x, 36y, 144. What happens here? We got 0 plus 0 equals to 0. So 0 equals to 0. And what happened here? If you guys remember, this means infinite solutions. Infinite many solutions. So that means that x and y can be anything. Okay, x and y can be anything. Any x, any y will work for this problem. Infinite many solutions. Okay, I hope that will be helpful for you guys. Please try to do your homework.